What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and talk about what's going on with the share price and also break down what just came out from CPI, as we have some major numbers that just came out and they will affect NIO and the overall market. Now, before I break anything down, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is you can always sell these 12 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some NIO shares for free. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 2 days, so please check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. NIO is looking pretty decent right now. It is still respecting a bit of an uptrend. We could see that NIO is up 0.97% for the day. However, the overall market right now makes me a little bit concerned about how on earth this is going to hold up. But I don't necessarily see NIO just like crashing or dropping down very hard. I do think it could see a little bit of downside based on what's happening to the overall markets. So why do I feel that way? Well, looking at the markets, fear is now taking control of our sentiment. And we could see that the market was pretty neutral previously, as the market did get some relief from the downside we saw previously. But now we're starting to see even more downside as fear and panic are starting to set in. Looking at SPY in NIO, we can see that they tend to be correlated. They're not correlated all the time. Just like during this instant right here, NIO was dropping a bit. SPY did push up a bit before coming down. And obviously, SPY did push to the upside. NIO did push up with it. But right now, SPY is basically crashing. SPY took a huge hit down over 4%. It's like the worst day of the year for SPY. Massive gap, huge crash. And despite that, NIO ended up actually closing green and actually pushing up throughout the majority of the day. You could see NIO had a big move to the upside, came down a bit, and just held pretty well. This is after the big news that came out for Deutsche Bank, saying that they give NIO a buy rating, saying the bottom has already been priced in. But that doesn't necessarily save NIO from what could end up coming for the near-term future of the markets. Let me show you exactly why. So let's actually go back and look at CPI. You'll notice something very interesting. Looking at the data and the forecasts, it looked very likely we would get a CPI report around here. CPI is one of the major inflationary measures, by the way, if you missed yesterday's video. And I mentioned this yesterday. It will seem like this is what the expectations were. It was very likely that we could get something like this. And the truth is it ended up coming out at 8.3%, which is actually pretty bad. It's higher than expected, and that was not good for the markets. So we can see right here, 8.3% was pretty bad, and the market did end up taking a hit because of that. But when you actually break down the numbers, it was actually worse than that. I'm going to show you that in a minute. So right now, articles are talking about CPI going up 8.3% over last year in August. So that's once again a very, very big move to the upside. Right here, high rents and also high food prices ended up boosting inflation in August, playing a big role. Then moving on to this source, it's just all over the news. We could see that we have one of the worst days in years for the Dow Jones. We have a very bad day for SPY, worst day of the year. And we're starting to see it actually continue to remain high. And it's very sticky, which is a big issue for the Fed. So this is the official data right over here. You could see right here, in August, the consumer price index for all urban consumers increased 0.1%, seasonally adjusted, and rose 8.3% over the last 12 months, not seasonally adjusted. That's actually a very, very high increase. It rose over 0.1% if you actually break down the data. Pretty crazy stuff. Now, if we actually go right here, I want to show you this first before breaking down the specific numbers. The blue line right here represents CPI for all items. The purple line represents CPI for all items less food and energy. So check this out. So all items CPI pushing up. It did appear to peak in June. It's been coming down. However, when you actually look at the data, the only reason as to why it came down, or the main reason, is because gas prices are dropping. Besides that, almost everything else went up. CPI inflation went up for everything else essentially except for gas. And it's not a good sign because we were looking at core CPI, so excluding food and energy, it was coming down. It was coming down. It was coming down. The markets were actually okay with this. But then all of a sudden, right here, July was pretty stagnant. August comes in, boom, another big increase. That's not a good sign because the data is being deflated by energy. So let's actually break down the specific numbers. We have all items CPI, and you'll notice for August, we had a 0.1% increase. For the 12-month August increase, it is 8.3%. That's crazy. If you look at food, up 0.8%, food at home up 0.7%. For the last 12 months, it's up over 11% and 13.5%. And believe it or not, these numbers do tend to be manipulated. And despite that, it still looks pretty insane. Food away from home went up as well, again, 0.9%. The only major sector that went down was energy, down 5% overall. Gasoline is down 10.6%, but for the last 12 months, it's still up over 25%. What else is crazy is looking at fuel oil, it's up 68% for the whole year. Once again, pretty crazy stuff. Electricity was still up 2%. Utilities up another 1.5%. I'm sorry, it's up 3.5%. It was down 3.6% last time. Now it's up again. And besides that, everything else is just essentially respecting an uptrend. Medical care services up 0.8%, 5.6% up for the year. It's just crazy, guys. And it's not good for everyday Americans. It's not good for everyday people. Looking at it from this standpoint, what is the Fed going to do about this? And so far, it does look like Jerome Powell was fixated on being more hawkish, and the market is starting to price in a 100 basis point rate hike from the Fed. Before yesterday, there was a 9% chance we got 50 basis points, 91% chance we got 75. Today, however, 76% chance we get 75, 24% chance we get 100. So the market is just getting ready for the Fed basically raising the rates even harder, becoming more strict on policy. And the market's getting ready for this. So this could be very big for the whole stock market. That's why the market's taking a big hit. We did not like this data. It was not good. And it really shows that what we're seeing is kind of like a canvas that looks amazing, but beneath the canvas, there's an illusion. And that is the true situation is not good in the USA. Inflation is still high. The Fed is going to have to be, in my opinion, more hawkish. Now, is the Fed going to raise the federal funds rate by 100 basis points going into next week, the 21st, which is the FOMC meeting? It's unlikely because we do have a midterm election coming up, but I won't rule it out just yet because you never know. And also, they have to be more hawkish, in my honest opinion. We need to bring inflation down ASAP. With that said, how is this going to affect NIO? Looking at SPY, this thing dropped all the way down to 391. Big hit going into the day. Not looking too good. And with the whole market, everything was red except for like a few stocks like NIO. NIO's pushing up, which is good. But when the whole market drops, I can't guarantee this is going to last, guys. We're kind of red in the after hours. And I mean, if we push up, we have resistance at 22.7. If we can't hold that, if the whole market starts to have its toll, continues to drop down, NIO is going to get dragged down as well, down to 21.5. We can't hold that, then 20.8 and then 20 are all on the table, not to mention now we have these gaps to the downside. Now what's good is NIO is showing lots of relative strength compared to before. However, please note that history has a tendency of rhyming, and if the whole market takes a hit, NIO has taken hits because of that. So I'm not saying we're going to crash down to 11. In fact, I don't see us necessarily crashing hard, but I do see some potential that what's going on could end up translating its way into NIO and drag it down a little bit too. So I'm a little bit more bearish than bullish for NIO because of what the overall market is doing. So please be prepared for that. If this thing pushes up, 22.7 and 23 to 23.26 are all resistance levels. Once again, I think it's a little bit less likely we push up much harder than where we are now. I do think this thing may come down just a bit because of CPI and because of the overall market having its toll on the stock. With that said, 21.5, 20.8, $20 flat are all key zones. Please watch them carefully. Do what you have to do. Remain calm, cool, and collected. And I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon, because look, the long-term future is still very bright. Their European expansion, their power swap stations, they're doing amazing. For the long term, I'm bullish. For the near term, for the short term, I'm still a little bit more bearish because of the fact that CPI came out this way, and we have to do what we have to do based off what the market is showing us. Anyways, thank you all for listening. Have a great day. Please do what you have to do. NIO to the moon, and peace out.